My name is Sarah from Tiger Recruitment. I'm a senior consultant here, specialising in the temporary divisions and overseeing the operations across Switzerland, Germany and France. So welcome to our first LinkedIn live event, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, I'm Jane Leese. I'm head of the office here in Zurich, and we're here to have a general overview of how we're currently finding the market in Switzerland and talk through any trends we're currently noticing.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to give a summary about things that we've been seeing in the media and things that we found interesting and how in reality these have actually played out. So although the year began slowly, which I think we can all agree, we have seen a considerable increase in movement in the job market. Factors such as the decrease in the interest rate, I think, have obviously given employees the confidence to begin or even increase their recruitment in Switzerland. And although the predictions at the end of 23 were that the number of open vacancies would reduce, we have in reality seen this number increase by 1.4%, which is really great news. Employers have also reported skill shortages. We've noticed this as well, in particular in IT, technical roles, and other roles that have required certain language skills. Jane, how would you say that you've seen things on your side?
Yeah, I would definitely agree that as the year has progressed, we've seen more positions coming into the market, and that's covered all the areas that we cover in the divisions. So whether that's business support, finance, IT, or private. I think one area that was particularly interesting for me to note is that there have been a number of roles where the client is recruiting their first employees in Switzerland. And they've tended to come to us either to use our payrolling services as they don't yet have a registered office, or they wish to employ someone as a permanent member of their team. And that's been really encouraging because we see that there are more employers committing to the Swiss market. And, you know, it just shows that there is definitely some positivity out there. Do you think that's something that you've seen as well?
Yeah, absolutely. On the temporary side, absolutely. So I've seen a notable influx of varying industries moving to Switzerland and using our services, maybe for setting up their office manager type roles. And in particular, I would say in the fields of biotech, energy and AI. And I think these sectors are increasingly drawn to Switzerland at the moment due to factors such as the robust infrastructure. They have great access to a skilled workforce. And this is really great news for those that are looking to get into these sectors in particular.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a couple of other areas where I've seen some growth as well. One of those is within the private division. We've been recruiting for a number of private PAs and family offices, etc., as well as private household staff. Again, both temporary and permanent. Some of that we had kind of predicted as a number of countries have recently changed tax structures. And so, as mentioned earlier, there's a bit more of a commitment to the Swiss market at the moment, which is good. But the other area that remains really popular in the market is part-time positions. And they're proving popular with both candidates and employers. I think for the employer, it gives them a chance to take somebody on to fill some of those gaps if they need to through different methods, but also at a lower workload. But for the candidates, it seems to suit all demographics. You know, we've had examples of where a more junior candidate has gone into a role at an 80% workload, and at the same time they're studying, so they're gaining some good work experience. But then obviously since the pandemic, we are seeing that people are evaluating their work-life balance more and more. And so many are happy to consider reduced workloads, especially within the 50 to 80% workload area, as work-life does become more and more important.
Yeah, I would actually say, interestingly, on the work-life balance and well-being subject, last week we held, as you know, a roundtable event in our office. We invited HR professionals from different industries, different clients throughout Switzerland and in particular Zurich, but a few from wider areas. And we introduce a topic each time we do this. And this time we discussed managing a sixth generation workforce. And I think these events are really nice because the ideas that are shared are always really interesting. They give us a really nice insight into internal trends within our clients' companies. And this time we found one interesting thing that came up from one of our clients who shared something that they'd done, a little initiative that they'd done this year with us. So normally they have an away week. They decided this time they'd have a in the office week. Obviously, people were a bit skeptical. Is this cost cutting? What is the benefit of this? Why are we doing this? And they said, look, just turn up to the office, all will be revealed. Just you need to come in 5 days next week, all will be revealed. So each morning they did breakfast, they did during the day social events, football matches, for example, meals out in the evening. This initiative was really focused about challenging their colleagues' ideas on what good work-life balance was and how working from home actually fits into that. And interestingly, what she kind of reported back to us was that they had noticed and they had reported an uptake in people choosing to come back to working in the office voluntarily. I think through this initiative, their colleagues were reminded of the benefits of the team spirit, the in-person interaction with their colleagues and how the benefits of this on their well-being. And actually, many found in some cases that this was actually more valuable than simply working from home.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because when we talk about work-life balance, we very often talk about working in the office less and actually working at home more. But actually, these kind of initiatives sometimes demonstrate that there is a huge value of being in the office and the cultural rewards that you can get from that. But there were a number of interesting points from the roundtable. The one that stood out to me was the HR manager who talked about a buddy system they've recently introduced. And rather than having the traditional mentoring system where a more senior person is guiding and assisting a more junior member, the buddy system actually brings together individuals from very different demographics and gives them an opportunity to really understand the other person's challenges and points of view. So in a way, it's like a reverse kind of mentoring because everybody's benefiting, everybody's learning, and it really helps to understand. And maybe in some ways, it draws a comparison with your example because people are getting together and they're starting to understand each other that little bit more. I think in general, though, all of these kind of initiatives will help companies with any issues that they have around recruitment, filling skills gaps, looking at part-time, the temporary contract. And it just shows that employers are now appreciating and encouraging more and more the different solutions with regards to recruitment and being able to fill all of those different vacancies that they have.
Exactly. So ultimately just being a little bit more creative, being agile and moving as the employment market changes. But I would say if we were going to summarize, I think it's always challenging to predict what will happen in the market. We can't really always foresee what's around the corner. However, I would say the Swiss market does have a reputation for stability, for resilience. So despite economic fluctuations globally, the Swiss market, I think, has managed to hold its ground. Mm-hmm. I think for us, this stability gives us a strong sense of optimism going forward, but we are really feeling our clients echoing this sentiment as well.
Yeah, I would agree. And, we can't predict every twist and turn, but overall, I think the mood certainly remains hopeful and very encouraging. But Sarah, it's been great talking this through with you this morning. For anybody who is interested, we will be producing a report from last week's roundtable. There was many good initiatives that came from that. You can request a copy through the link that's posted into the comments. But thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to welcoming you to the next event, and we hope you all enjoy a successful rest of the week.